Hi there, I'm the MCU guy, and welcome to the MCU podcast. I'm here today to talk to you about Black Widow. I'm going to be doing a short, spoiler-free review as I went to see the film on Wednesday the 7th over here in the UK, ahead of its Disney Plus release and worldwide release today, Friday the 9th of July. Yes, I just thought I'd come here and give you like a little review. If you've not seen the film yet and you're waiting, and obviously you listen to this before you're watching the film, don't worry, I'm not going to give you any spoilers because obviously that would be incredibly mean. And probably like me, you've been waiting for so long now for this film. Anybody ruins it, it will just kind of take everything away from you. So yeah, no spoilers here. So don't you worry, I got you. No spoilers. Yeah. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll do like a little review here, give me my thoughts and opinions, and give like a little rating out of 10 for the film on this episode, and then the last episode of Loki comes out next week, so I think there'll be a bigger episode of a Loki breakdown and review next week on the pod. But I thought Black Widow needed its own review and its own little segment for me to kind of break it down. There's no guest; it's just me giving you my thoughts and opinion. I did go watch it with a friend, and he probably will come on. Maybe he'll come on a later podcast after the episode's been out, after the film's been out for a while, because then we might be able to get into like some of the spoiler review bits and kind of talk into detail about what kind of stuff happened in the film, because a lot happened. To say that it takes place in between Civil War and Infinity War, there's still a lot that happens that kind of impacts the MCU going forward. And obviously, I ain't gonna tell you what it is because this is a spoiler-free review, spoiler-free zone. So don't worry, I've got your back. We're not going to go into that. So first of all, let's just talk about the fact that finally we get a Black Widow film. We've waited like a year and a half for this film, and I tell you what, it was worth the wait for me. I thought it was incredible. The film starts off really, really, really fast, and I think it's one of the most. Me and my friend were talking about this. We thought it's like one of the most impressive starts to a film, like a standalone film, for a while. Like it's so fast paced at the start, and you're like, wow, it just kicks into full gear, and it doesn't really ever really stop. It's just kind of like a roller coaster. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's just it's really, really good. And I think to say this was going to be after the first MCU. This is going to be the first MCU property to kick off Phase 4. It would have come up with a bang. I mean, obviously we got WandaVision first, and we've had Falcon Winter Soldier and half of Loki, but this would have been really, really good and a fantastic way to kick off the fourth phase of MCU. Let's talk about some of the good stuff. Right, so really good stuff. Florence Pugh, from like, she is like incredible, and I think this is one of the first things I've seen her in properly, and like to say that she's obviously an English actress and making her MCU debut, it was just, I don't know, I don't really want to tell you anything that she does, but it's all mint, and she's the standout star for me for this. Daniel Harbour was really good. Rachel Weisz was good. O.T. Fenbengue, I can't say his name. O.T. Fenbenle. He was good. Obviously, Scarlett Johansson is fantastic as Black Widow. We know that. Ray Winston, again, really cool. They led like solid, like an institution over here in the UK, and like a really solid actor. And he just seemed to just easily fit into the MCU like mold. I really enjoyed it, and I thought that there was not really, I can't really give you any sort of bad performances really. I think everyone really shone. Daniel Harbour is really funny, and I've not seen Stranger Things, so I can't really give you anything that he's ever been in. But like, I really enjoyed him as Red Guardian. Really funny, and I think him and Florence Pugh had a really good chemistry together, and I think that, like I said, that's one of the standout things I can take from that is the fact that it was a good solid performance from both of them too. Really enjoyable. The action is probably the best action that I've seen in a standalone MCU film for a very long time. Like, I know there's going to be a lot of stuff in Phase 4 that's probably gonna blow it out the water. Like Shang-Chi is probably going to be far more impressive. But like some of the choreography in this is just so good, and there's some big action sequences and and some really big moments that are just really impressive for a standalone film and for a film that probably should have got a lot earlier in the MCU, really, but finally got it back with us here, and again, it was fantastic. In terms of storyline, I thought it was really well done. I mean, there's always going to be an issue when you have these kind of films that are going back and filling gaps in, and like doing and trying to fill the gaps in and trying to tie everything together in a neat little bow. Sometimes it could be like a ticking box like program where you're like, oh, we need to mention this, we need to mention that, we need to get that in there, we need to kind of stitch everything together and just like force things in there just for the sake of tying things together. A bit like Solo for Star Wars. There was so many things in there like ticked boxes, and you kind of just had to put it in there for the sake of putting it in there, and it didn't really need that. Like, I didn't really need to know how Han got his gun and stuff like that. Like, I know it now. Does it really change my opinion on anything about Han Solo? No. Did I really give a shit? No. This is a bit different. It's not shoved in your face, and it's not just like over the top, and they're not trying too hard to tick some boxes, but they do a really good job of doing it, and they do tick a lot of boxes. But it doesn't seem like a formality, like they're just doing it because they have to do it, just because they've got to be seen to be tying everything together, if you know what I mean. So there's a few things that work really well, and you're a bit like, oh yeah, and there's so many times where I was like, oh, and like being like, oh, and I'm just giving you noises here, and I'm just going, oh, and yeah, and ooh, but that's it. Like, you'll sit there and be like, I see, okay, they got me there, they got me. And they type so many things back to like Black Widow in general, like with her story and the things that she does, and some of the things she's done in the past MCU things. Like, I saw myself like looking at things in the film and being like, spotting things and being like, oh, that's going to play a part later on. And yeah, not that it made it predictable, but if you know anything about Natasha and like the stuff that she's got into and the things that she's done in the past MCU, like you'll cotton on if you're paying attention, but not in a ridiculously obvious way. I mean, if you've binge watched all these films how many times like I have, then you probably will spot a few things. Not that I'm a seasoned pro like some people, but I think I've come close with a lot of my predictions in recent times, especially with these MCU shows. So yeah, look out for some little Easter eggs and some little things in the background, and then you'll start to understand. In relation to the actual story, though, I thought it was really well done, and because they had a really hard task of trying to put a good story in a time of the MCU where everything was kind of broken, and obviously the Avengers breaking up and struggling to like come to terms with everything that's happened after Civil War, and like with the Avengers being on the run. It felt, I was worried about how they were going to fit in a really creative story into this that would fly under the radar in regards to just Avengers life, but also not take too much shine away from Natasha as an actual character on her own, because like we said in the past, she deserves this film, which has done for a while. So I thought they did a really good job at kind of tying everything back from a past and putting it in this timeline, and I kind of keep saying this, but stitching it all together, because I mean, it needed to be a good storyline, and it did, and there was lots of twists and turns and some oh shit moments and some oh damn moments, and yeah, it was good. It was a solid story. I can't really go into too much detail because I don't really want to spoil anything. So it's difficult for me to kind of talk at length about how good this film was, but it was just really impressive, and to come from a director who never done any sort of thing like any sort of big action MCU property, did a fantastic job. Story was fantastic. Acting was great as normal. Come to just obviously what you expect from an MCU film. There's obviously lots of heart, lots of comedy, lots of action, and lots of building for the MCU. So yeah, I think you'll really enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Obviously, once you've watched the film, please, obviously, if you're going to comment on the video or share it, don't be posting any spoilers for it. We need to give it at least a week grace period before we can start posting big old spoilers for things. Make sure to follow me on all the socials. ThatMCUGuy, apart from Twitter, which is ThatMCUGuyUK, and on YouTube, ThatMCUGuyUK. Don't forget my Etsy page is still up, my Etsy store for the t-shirts. I've got a new line of Loki t-shirts coming out probably next week if I can finish the designs. Some Loki designs on there for you, some good ones. It's obviously, if you like the podcast, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you leave me a review, because if you leave reviews, it's a good way for me to shoot up the algorithm and to get more people listening to the podcast. Because I mean, that'd be fantastic. That's what we want. We want more people to listen, because we want to build an audience, build a group of people who all like the same thing, because the MCU, which is good. I'm gonna leave you with my review of out of 10. So my review out of 10, that'll make sense. I'm going to leave you with my overall rating of the film out of 10. Are you ready? Drum roll. 8 out of 10. It's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. There's obviously better films in it, but I think it's one of the better ones. The new, to be fair, all the newer ones are all good anyway, and I've really enjoyed them. But this one I don't know. I kind of had a smile on my face all the whole way through it, and not that I don't anyway, but it might change. Like, it might change throughout time, and obviously when I've watched it a few more times, it might improve. It might not do. Like, it's one of those things. I was just excited to see it in the cinema and get out there and experience it. So for me, solid 8 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, for listening, and I'll see you in about a week and a half time for the Loki end of season review. I watched episode 5, by the way, today, and it was incredible. That episode 5 is the best episode so far of the season. I think it's better than episode 1. The other episodes have been a bit meh for me, but episode 5 turned it up, and I properly enjoyed it. It's got me well more excited for the season finale, which, if you'd asked me about 2 weeks ago, did I really care that much, I'd have said no. But it's good. So make sure to watch the final next week. And I will see you for my reaction of it next week. Probably next Wednesday. I'll see you then. Ciao,
So,
bye.
Scott, as you may be aware, there's a bit of a lockdown on.
Yes, I had heard that.
Lots of people have suddenly got a lot of time on their hands and a smorgasbord of content to choose from to fill that time. How can people find the best nerdy content when there's so much out there?
It's difficult, but don't worry.
This podcast is part of the That Thing You Might Like network. Here's something you might like. Find us on socials at TTYL Network.